Thank you, Tom. We are Team Baby Swiper, but before we get into our app and what it does, I would like to go around and introduce the team. My name is Caitlin Wilson. I am a military spouse, and my wife is currently serving in the Marine Corps.
Hey, my name is John Carlton. I'm currently in the Navy, and I'm transitioning out in January.
Hi, my name is Kyle Hartner, and I'm also currently transitioning out of the Navy.
Hi, my name is James Brooks, and I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran.
And I am Jacob Crawford, and I am a Navy veteran. Our last team member is Krista Pfeiffer, and she moved last week and couldn't be here today. We made Baby Swiper because we found couples want to choose from a big variety of names, but they don't want to read a big book of baby names. It's something that couples often talk about at random moments, but we wanted a way to systematically judge, store, and revisit those names with a partner. Although there were other apps like this, they were missing crucial functionality. There was no way to add a name unless it was already in the cards. The other app required a user and their partner to buy packs of additional names. And then the names did not disappear after they were left swiped. So while you could swipe on a name, there was no other information about that name. I'm going to hand it over to John to talk about the solution that we came up with.
Thanks, Jacob. So to solve these issues, we created Baby Swiper. Our app combines features of existing products and adds more. Baby Swiper has a database of nearly 24,000 names to pick from, ensuring you can swipe to your heart's content. Swipe through randomly selected names or input your own preferences to receive a personalized list of names to search through. If you can't find a name you like, you can also add your own. Once users like names, they can also drag and drop names to rank them, enabling a couple to see their favorite matched names. Finally, once a name is added, users can see information on that name, ranging from related names to celebrities with that name, and even the popularity of that name over the past few decades. Next, Caitlin and I are going to show you a demo of our app. Caitlin will start us off.
Thanks, John. So my partner, John, and I are expecting our first child very soon, but we're having a really hard time deciding on a name. A friend of mine told me about this new app called Baby Swiper that helped her and her partner choose a name when they were expecting. So I've decided to check it out. When I come to the splash page, I see a nice information about the app and what it does. So I decided to sign up and create a profile. From here, I see an overview of what the app can do. So I'm going to check out some features. If I go to recommended names, it looks like I don't have any yet because I haven't started swiping. If I go to like names, same thing. I see that I don't have any like names yet. So let me go to the swiping feature and see what that looks like. When I go there, I see a deck of cards with a bunch of names on them. Looks like they're from all sorts of different origins, but I can swipe left and right. When I swipe right, they get added to a like name pool that I can then drag and drop, it looks like, and save the order. I think it looks kind of cool, so I'm going to tell John to check it out and see what he thinks.
All right, so my partner told me about this app, so I decided to try it out. I've created an account, logged in, and now I can pair our accounts. So that creates a couple, and then we can input our preferences and receive a list of names based off those preferences. After swiping on these names, I get my list of like names, and I can go through and review them. Maybe I'll remove some that I'm not feeling so strongly about. I can also change the order and rank them accordingly. So this looks pretty cool. I think I want to create my own name though. So I'm going to go up and add my own name, and then I can rank that as well too. So after I do this, this will compare my likes with my partner's likes. So let's save these and then see what Caitlin's up to.
Now that John's had a chance to check out the app, I kind of want to see how our profiles interact with each other. So if I come back to my profile and go to my like names, I see that my two like names are still the same. But if I go to swipe names, I see that the names are now the same pool that John swiped through, English male baby names. I swipe all the way through, and finally I come across the name that John manually added, even though it wasn't in the pool to begin with. But swiping right, I see that it's a match, and it gets added to my like names list. Now I can kind of go through and also curate my names, sorting stuff, removing stuff that I don't really like anymore. And I moved Patty D up because I kind of like that name that John added. Now if I go to match page, I can see all the names that John and I matched on, and it looks like they're numbered. So I want to see what that's all about. If I go to like names and kind of rearrange stuff, I'm going to put Jeff at the top and save my order. And then going back to match page, I see that Jeff has moved up in the ranking. So it looks like the app is curating a list of mine and John's likes and giving me the results based on what we like the best together. If I want to see more information, I can open up the information tab and see different names that are related to Jeff, celebrity names, and its popularity throughout the decades. On the recommendation page, I can see other recommended names based on profiles that are a lot like mine. And I can add names directly from there and add them to my list and then drag and sort them just like any other name. And that's Baby Swiper. And I'm happy to say that thanks to Baby Swiper, John and I were able to pick out a name with no fighting. So let's talk about how Baby Swiper was born. We broke our development down into 4 main phases. The first was our plan and design phase, where we talked about what the app we wanted to build was, what it looked like, and who we were building it for. Then we moved on to researching tools and APIs to bridge the gap between the app we knew how to build and the app we wanted to build. Then we moved straight into development. We focused on our core functionality first, looking at our minimally viable product and getting that completely done before we moved on to anything else. Then we split off into groups. The first group styled what we already had, while a second group looked at quality assurance and bug fixes, and the final group went ahead to start building out the next feature of our app. We continued that cycle until we finished the app you saw in front of you today. We were only able to keep up that pace because of a daily schedule. We started every day with a daily stand-up where we talked about what we had done the day before, what we were planning on doing today, and discussing any potential blockers we had with our group. Then we moved on into individual and pair programming. As we worked throughout the day, we would update our team with advancements and pain points on Slack. And then at the end of every day, we would have a stand down where we would review what we had done, go through run-throughs of the app, and start planning the next day. It was only because of this open line of communication and this daily schedule that we were as successful as we were. And now I'm going to hand it off to Kyle, who's going to talk about the technology that we used.
Thanks, Caitlin. This slide is a quick overview of the technologies we used in this project. So starting at the top left, we used Python with Django, and one package we wanted to point out was the scikit-learn package we used, which was key in correlating similar users in order for us to provide recommended names. On the front end, we used JavaScript with React, and the APIs we used was the Behind the Names API, the Celebrity Ninja API, and the Social Security Administration API, which provided the details that were shown in the demo. From the management perspective, we use Trello to track the development pipeline, as well as GitHub in order to control versions. And with that, I'll pass it on to James. We'll talk about some of the obstacles we overcame.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, during our development, we had several challenges. I'll just highlight a couple of them here. The first one being our original app idea was one called Greenview. Excuse me. But during our planning phase, we had discussions about our goals and vision for the app. And after 2 days of deliberation and brainstorming, we all came to a consensus to pivot into the app that became Baby Swiper. Another roadblock that we had was an API limitation. We discovered that our API for gaining our names was limited to 6 names per call. And in order to populate a 24,000 name list, that was rather impractical. So we ended up having to build a tool in order to get our names some other way. And then we have some future releases. One is to curate user data and to show trends of user activity and popularity of names over time. Another is a pet name feature, one where you can have a list of names to name your pet cat or dog accordingly. And then also the ability to share your favorite names with your friends and family. And that concludes our presentation here, and we are open for any questions that you might have.
Awesome. Great job, Baby Swiper. We have a few questions from the chat. What was your decision in adding, like, what data, like celebrity names? Was there an option to add like origin and the meaning behind the names, as well as how did you deal with like unisex names? How do they come in from whatever API you're using?
I can handle that one, Tom. So we got all of our names. We ended up building a scraper and gathering all the names. So that stores the typical usage, whether that's masculine or feminine, in addition to the origin. So that's stored attached to the name. As far as unisex names go, Those names are produced in a name pool, whether you enter male or female. So you'll see both of those depending on what you input.
Awesome. What was like two or a couple of the biggest challenges that you all faced as a team?
I can take a stab at that one. So I know that one of the things that challenged us most when we first came together was the shared vision of what the app would be. So our initial idea, as James mentioned, was a way to display environmental data. And it was a slightly broad vision, and we all had not conflicting ideas, but no clear idea. And so after kind of mulling that over for a day, giving it time to form, and without any like hard picture of what that looked like in our mind, what we all decided as a group together, and I think we did well to pivot on, was we had a very clear understanding of what we were going to do with the Baby Swiper app and what we wanted to achieve. And so, on day 2, we decided to make that decision and make a 180-degree pivot. And I think it ended up working out well for us.
Awesome. Great job. And that concludes the questions for Baby Swiper.